Nation, it's Porter here with Danny real quick before we start the episode. Say hi, Danny.
Hey, everybody.
So here's the thing. We record episodes in advance because if something goes wrong, we want to make sure we've got an episode ready for you every week. And because of that, sometimes things fall through the cracks. So I want to take a quick second to tell you about the promotion we've currently got going on Patreon. Now, I know you've heard us talk about the Postmortem series and how much we love to do it. And, you know, we talk about it. We gush, what do you want from me? But we're about to start season 2 of that with The Guilty, and that's going to come in March. So we thought it would be a really good idea for the rest of February to offer a promotion on Patreon. So here's the deal. If you want to sign up to our Patreon, if you're able to do so, from the $10 tier, you get the entire first chapter, the Into the Breach, the 4-part first chronicle we ran. That just comes with it this month alone. I know that's a little short notice. You got 5 days left. We were so fond of the series, we wanted to make sure everyone had a chance to get caught up before we walk into that second chronicle. So, if you can, if you're able to spare the money, maybe now's a good time. If you've been on the fence about joining the Patreon, we'll make sure to include some links so you can find it pretty easily. In the meantime, enjoy the show, and hopefully we'll see you on that Patreon line. Take care, everybody. Danny, run the intro. At you from Summer Rain Studios. It's the latest episode of Rage Across the Internet, your very own Werewolf the Apocalypse podcast. I'm your host, Porter. To my left, we've got producer Joey.
Hey, guys.
To my right, we've got Daniel D. Tyson.
Do I dare ask what that... Nope.
Nope. Don't go there.
Hey, everybody. Just going to stop right there and cut you right off.
And across from me, of course, we've got Tommy Dixon.
What's up, guys?
Oh, man. Good to see you.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's good to be back.
Right? We had quite the episode last time. Little milestone.
We'll go with milestone.
It definitely
Happy
was.
50.
You know, it was good. And here's the crazy thing, too, is next, we got 52 coming. That's a full year.
It is.
Holy shit. Didn't even think about it that way.
Right?
Happy anniversary next week.
Happy anniversary indeed. But, I mean, that's something we'll cover next week.
Yeah, next
when
week.
we probably don't do anything special.
No. There's probably not going to be any cake or balloons.
I mean, it's just, the year and then the 50th, those are both milestones. We made a judgment call. We'll celebrate next year.
You know what? I'm bringing kazoos.
Kazoos.
Oh, that might be a
kazoos.
Thing. That might be, that's the year special, everybody, the Kazoo Jamboree.
Nice.
Maybe you heard it here first.
And you get to download it as an MP3 if you're a Patreon supporter.
Holy shit. Look at this, he's taking over.
He is. Wow.
Look at this man.
Wow.
You're making more work because now they're going to be asking for the Kazoo Jamboree.
No one is going to want
No one's going to want that.
They're going to do it just because they can.
No one is going to want... Because here's the thing. They're going to think it's very clever. We're going to make them play kazoos and them, but we're not going to listen to it.
You're going to get it rough.
Well,
Right.
Someone's
no
going to
edit.
have to. We're going to edit that shit.
No, we will not edit the Kazoo Jamboree.
You know
We
what?
will just-
I'll bust out my old recorder because I'm sure I still have that in my basement somewhere.
Playing some hot cross buns.
Oh, you know it.
And so they'll get this raw, unedited piece of shit of us not knowing how to play kazoos and making noise into a microphone for an hour and a half.
It's going to be my new ringtone.
Oof.
Just to bug everybody.
You
I'm
hate
sorry.
your coworkers.
Oh, yes. Aggressively, yes.
Wow.
Anyway.
Yes. We don't hate you guys. We're very fond of our listener base. We've got a great community.
Yeah, and, thanks for hanging out.
It really does mean a lot. And, there's a lot of ways you guys show your support, and that's great. And one of the ways you could do that if you want to help us out is to make sure that you go and you rate us, give us a 5-star wherever you can, because that just helps us get higher the ranks, which helps us get into more people's feeds, or they're suggested, or whatever.
Tell us your favorite recorder song.
Tell us your thoughts on Kazoo Jamboree.
Buns.
Danny's getting real into that.
I'm getting real scared.
A little bit.
It's fine.
So, you can do that, and, if you have any questions or any piece of feedback you want to send us, please email it to us. It's the best way to do it, and that's rageacrosspodcast@gmail.com.
Or you can hit me up on Twitter @RageAcross.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yep.
we have
Facebook.
the Facebook, our own Facebook page, and then our own Facebook group.
And that's at Rage Across Podcast? Or
No, that's Rage Across the Internet on Facebook.
okay.
That's where you can find me. And then we got Joey on Twitter
Yep.
@RageAcross.
Rage Across.
Because we don't tweet. We don't know how to make it go.
I don't even know what that is.
I know, right?
That's all Joey.
Tweet.
See, look at that. She did it already.
It's Rockin' Robin over there. Tell them what you got for us.
Well, we always like money.
Oh. Just come right out and say it, why don't you?
Well, it's a joke. Come on.
People appreciate honesty, though.
That's true. This stuff, we need to pay for this stuff.
Yeah, shit ain't cheap.
And hey, we like to give back as well. So if you want to send us some of your hard-earned cash, Patreon's the best way to do it.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
certainly appreciate it. I mean, obviously you don't have to.
PayPal's an option, but you want stuff backed.
And I
Get on the
have
Patreon.
heard something about Patreon recently that if you have mature content, like if you swear or have adult content, which we do, we're an explicit.
What?
We're marked explicit.
Family
If-
show.
Fuck all that.
If you click the explicit, show checkbox, you are not searchable on Patreon. So you have to put in Rage Across the Internet.
It's news to me.
Well, we have the link right there on our website.
Right. So that's
Easiest
probably
way
the
to
best
get
way
to
to
it,
do
yeah.
it.
Yeah, so
Which
go right
is-
to the website because
which is
that's the
what?
link. Our website, rageacrosstheinternet.com.
.com.
And while you're
Oh,
there,
not again.
wow, we started that all over again. So grab that link to the Patreon and then grab the link to the Discord. Come hang out with us. Come have fun with some gift wars, pop culture discussion, werewolf discussion, shockingly.
Dracula discussion.
Yeah, there's a good talk about the Dracula games. Mm-hmm.
Mage as well.
The occasional flamethrower.
We get you get some fun discussions. You get some serious discussions. We answer questions. We're on there as much as we can. We hang out.
You get to meet a lot of werewolf lovers from around the world.
Yeah, a lot. We have a great community. Like I am super
Like a
proud of our community.
global community.
Right?
Yeah, all hours of the night.
America, Canada, all of the places.
Eh?
Yeah, Discord's, also the Discords, that's where we hit the monthly Patreon hangout too.
That's true.
Watch those shitty movies, laugh, drink, laugh some more. Make fun of that really crappy movie we just watched.
Oh, and we have a blast doing it.
Oh,
It's our
yeah.
first tier on our Patreon. Second tier being
Our very own Postmortem series, which is a deep dive into the games that these dudes at the table with me have actually played. We are just about, I think by the time this airs,
Yes.
we are
Yeah.
about to start.
Or we just
started. One or the other. A little sketchy.
Yeah. We've
Um,
hinted at the guilty how
Yes.
many times now?
And so we started the Guilty, I think, it's in February.
Yeah.
There it is. So you can get an inside peek not only as to my creative process, the decisions these guys have made, the hindsight look, the initial reactions. It's gotten some really good feedback, and that's important, and we love doing it.
Yeah, the feedback's important too, so if that's what you want to hear, let us know. You like hearing it, let us know. You don't, tell us and we'll change it.
Yeah. And then, of course, for our third tier, you get those gifts plus. You become a member of what we could call the NPC of the Month Club, where I send you a write-up directly from my NPC Bible.
Your fully fleshed out characters that you've spent time,
Oh, yeah.
hard-earned work and time on that, man. It's nuts.
Well, and in fact, something that's worth noting is it sounds like I'm just copy and pasting.
No, you're writing
Yeah,
up.
I'm rewriting them because I've had a lot of different versions of the characters over the years and a lot of different eras and different groups. And
So you
what
get to
I'm-
rewrite the best version of it.
right, and what I've done is I'm bringing those all together, and it's a new entry.
And obviously, you're leaving the room for growth and everything, so people can utilize them in their stories.
Absolutely,
Because it's the character. It's not their stats.
right.
That's
You
the
don't-
important part.
Stats don't matter. You make the stats what you need them to be, but it's the character themselves.
Craziness. Look at all that shit we give back.
Yeah.
Come join us on Patreon.
Hey,
And on Discord. And our email.
Rage Cross the internet.
And our website.
Rage Cross for president.
You know what we haven't
No.
really mentioned in a while either, though? That website, our website, the forums.
That's true. We do have forums.
We do have forums.
And that's where you're going to get the link for Discord, but still.
And there is some cool shit on there too. You know, we have some old articles and pieces from the Nocturnus days. There's a couple members of the forum who are putting up book reviews, which I think is great. You know,
I've enjoyed some of them reads.
Yeah, it's a good
Really
place for
have.
discussion. Yeah, there's some really cool shit in
Yeah,
there.
there's some good stuff on there.
But I think without further ado, enough shilling our own selves.
Let's get to the topic at
Patting
hand.
ourselves on the back.
Well, yeah, let's get to the topic.
So,
Rage Cross you have forever and ever. Gold stars for us all.
so,
So, topics.
well, it all kind of folds into an odds and ends.
Which is a little segment, and you've already clicked the episode, you already know, which we're calling the Junk Drawer Diaries.
Yes. It's kind of a grab bag of everything that we couldn't make a whole show out of.
Yeah, fan submission questions that are more than just a question, but aren't enough to make a show.
Yeah.
Little ideas that we didn't quite have an angle on at the moment that maybe we will later, maybe we won't. Who gives a shit? We're going to talk about it now, too, though.
Yeah, there's a bunch of these, yeah, like Joey said, a lot of little odds and ends. Yeah, it was great discussion about it, but that's 10 minutes.
Yeah, you can't fit an hour episode into that.
Right.
Yeah, but if you get 5, 6, 10 of them, sure.
Yeah, now we can make an episode.
Exactly.
Now we've got a grab bag episode.
So we reach our hand in that junk drawer, pull out a couple batteries, a ketchup packet, a drywall screw, and let's have some fun.
Is my laser pointer in there?
Could be.
We haven't gotten that far into the junk drawer,
Oh,
so
crap.
I found a shoelace.
just one though.
Just one.
This one.
How about the garage key? That's been out for a while.
You know.
Nope.
I'll tell you what happened to that later.
Oh, is Tom okay?
No.
Tom's fine, but I probably have it back to you in like an hour and a half.
So he did find it. It's just gone again. All right. Junk drawer diary
yeah,
number 1.
Let's get this going.
Okay.
Yes. What do we got?
So we're gonna start off by talking about metastats,
Okay.
which is your rage.
Meta stats.
META.
Space.
Yes.
Stats.
We're not spelling all of the words. This is the spelling bee episode.
Well, you say it fast enough and no one knows what the hell we're talking about.
Like Submarine Studios.
Womp womp.
It's a beautiful joke there. I told them once and no one responded. I was very upset.
Okay, so metastats. Your rage, your gnosis, and your willpower. How do they interact? How do they affect each other?
All right. Well, I guess first off, I'm going to just sneak in here.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Well, we've talked about the stats individually, and I guess maybe it bears repeating. We know what willpower is. You know what that word means, so we don't have to discuss that a whole lot.
Correct.
You know, rage is, you know what rage is as a word, but as a concept, it's not like you're upset this time, because like the guy didn't go immediately when the light went green.
Yeah, you're not having a hot take moment.
No, it's not like, I'm just in a bad mood because I don't have a Snickers. It's not that.
You're not you when you're hungry.
You know, it's been written that, and I don't remember if it's higher than 2 rage or rage 2 and higher.
Okay.
But
Either way, that's
it doesn't matter. Right?
really low for a
Right.
Garu.
But at that point, that's the amount of rage where you are no longer fit to deal with society. You are too angry to be able to like be in the world. It is a constant, burning, flowing anger inside you that you barely can fucking control. You know. Now, gnosis, on the other hand, it's essentially your spiritual lifeblood, but it's also your connection to everything. And the two are actually in contradiction to each other. I mean, there's a duality there. You know, there's this deep-seated understanding of your place in the world and the things around you, your spiritual awareness, you know, and that cosmic connection to Gaia herself, that kind of love, next to that burning hot fucking rage. And that's why in the books you are not allowed to use those things together in a turn.
Right, because they're diametrically opposed.
Right. And that's something that I golden rule because I would rather you guys do like really cool action shit and let your imaginations go wild, but I'm the asshole there, not, you know.
Right. Well, at the same time, you've said it that our games are not combat centric. They're not, you know, they're more the role playing part of it. They're more of the story. They're not how much can you smash a thing all the time.
No, that's true. Yeah, like there's place and cabinet in our games, but
Right. But it's not a hack and slash game.
right.
Yeah, of course there's combat and that
yeah.
shit's cool, but like
More
it's-
depth than that. But.
Right, that's what I was getting at. There's the depth there, and I want to go back to Rage just for a second. You know, we've talked about how it's on our forums, and we've even had it in the Patreon. Your dramatic reading of
The Blanket of Anger,
Blanket of Anger. Thank you,
Lisa Fleischman.
which was absolutely awesome to read and even cooler to hear out loud.
Thank you.
You put some serious depth into the feeling behind it. And then we had a question on the Discord. Someone was asking, and I apologize because I don't remember exactly who. But they know who they are, so thank you. But they were asking, what rage do you think that Garu specifically had?
Oh, I remember that question.
You know, because it was in, you know, he's on like a park bench in the middle of like a busy city. And we came up to the conclusion, it's not about how much rage he has specifically. It's not, well, he's got 2, he can sit there. That's your average Garu. He's barely able to tolerate what's going on right now.
No, I mean, it's a good point. Gaur are not fit for human society. You know, and you hear things, and I think it's something we're going to touch on later. So I'm going to leave that there for now.
And I think with the blanket of anger, I think like, okay, so say he's got a rage of 3 or 4. I think it comes down more on the side of how much willpower does he have?
And that was my next point.
Yeah, which is definitely important too, because that's how well he can control it.
Yeah.
But, I caution people to look at it as a checks and balances, even though there is a level of checks and balances.
Right.
Because I think it's unfair to go, okay, well, I have 5 rage, so I need to have 6 willpower. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a good idea.
That is a good idea.
But I don't want people to look at that as a safety net to go, well, I don't have to act like the rage affects me because I have more willpower.
Yeah.
That's selling the whole concept short.
Well, and then you get a pack together and you've got 3, 4, or even 5 rage monsters hanging out together. Like, Hunter chews with his mouth open. Echo's gonna just freaking deck him one of these days.
I mean, you think about your friends and how often they annoy you on the regular. Like,
And then triple that.
I'm talking to the audience, not anyone at this table, because that will start.
Oh, that's a whole different show.
Yeah, that will start a fucking.
I was going to say,
Thunderdome Part 2.
Tom's glaring straight through your forehead right
You
now.
just hear glass breaking all over the place. You motherfucker! No. But like
We would need to video that one.
like the minor.
Check us out on YouTube.
We do have a YouTube.
Yeah, it's there.
It's not. Well, soon though.
Yes.
We'll have the Let's Play Earthblood.
But anyway, back to the topic at hand.
Earthblood. It just hit me. I have to buy that fucking game. Anyway.
Back to topic
Yes,
at hand.
no, we're doing it. Jeez.
I've always looked at rage as it's not just dots on a sheet.
Right.
Yeah, nothing
Not-
should. Yeah.
I mean, you shouldn't worry about the dots on the sheet. Yeah, granted, the game has its
Checks and balances.
checks and balances, but play the character.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you have, and I mean, maybe I'm going to do a little digression here. I'm going to talk about one of the NPCs. He's the NPC, Rune Eltero, who is a glass walker. All right, he's what we call a solo artist. and he is that because he can't even be around other Garu.
Yeah, he can't be around his ex-pack.
Yeah, he was kicked out of his ex-pack for violent outbursts. This is a guy sitting in Rage 9.
All the time.
And
Jesus.
Rune Eltron, he's a sick motherfucker. Mm-hmm. And in something, when you write those like super high rage characters, or you tend to run the risk of going and turning them into a caricature. It's kind of endearing because he's pissy and he's an asshole all the time.
Ooh, it was not endearing in the least.
But there's a way to do that where it happens. And then
yeah.
you see that and you bring it back. And it was something that I realized was happening with this character. And so what did I do? I revised, because this is what you do. Always revise your shit. Always take a second look. Can you do it better? And so I looked at this guy. This is a guy who can barely control himself with the most basic of shit. Like, you ever get home and, like, you pull out your keys to open your door and you dropped your keys right in front of the door?
Frenzy.
Yeah. He'll just knock the fucking door down. And he can't help that.
Yeah.
And then 5 minutes later, his hands are all bloody because he probably didn't even bother to shift up. His suit's fucking ruined. His door, he's got to get a new door. Possibly a new chunk of wall.
It's just constantly even madder and everything building.
Yeah. And he looks at that. I mean, this is a guy that I decided, and I think we've talked about this, some of us, I don't know, is he would create this regime, I guess, the regime. Routine. Thank you, what was wrong with me? This routine where he would watch VHS copies of, like, The Cosby Show. And I know, Bill Cosby, hot button thing, you gotta remember this game's set in the 90s, so we remove all that stuff. But I choose The Cosby Show because it was a wholesome television show.
There was nothing to get mad at.
Right. It was vanilla and safe and by the numbers, and he would have to sit there and watch it to wind down, to get some sort of grip on humanity, to control himself.
I remember I was playing a character in one of your games that had to knock on his bedroom door. And I think he was in the middle of watching The Cosby Show.
Yeah.
And my character knew to stand against the wall and, like, put my arm out and knock on the bedroom door.
In case he threw something?
No, because, what was it, 2 or 3 shots came through the bedroom door.
Holy
Exactly.
He
shit.
just shot through the bedroom door.
Wow.
You disturbed him.
Just quiet time.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just known with that group. Don't stand in front of that door and knock. You'll put iron there.
Damn.
But, this was and that's where you lean toward it can get to the caricature, but...
Yeah, you don't want to make it a comedic relief at that point.
Right. But
Oh,
that's why
yeah.
I squared it back to that. He needs that touchstone. And, today, it could be the Andy Griffith Show. It doesn't fucking matter. But the point
Golden
is that
Girls.
wholesome, vanilla, safe something that won't upset him that he could use to calm himself because he can't do it. And so, like, there's your rage.
There was a long way around the rage. Sorry
Yeah,
about that.
but
Still,
I think it's a thing that needs to hit home.
agreed.
Because I think a lot of people will bump up their willpower as an excuse to not portray the rage.
And they'll even have high rage and not portray what they're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Yeah.
You're on eggshells constantly, and I mean, is that
Yeah, and I mean, okay, so you've highlighted a high rage character. How about a high gnosis character?
well, I think, that person, God, I said it once before, I'm not going to say it this time. I remember being asked that before, and I'm not going to use those words. But I think, again, it's your spiritual lifeblood. It's your connection to Gaia and to all things, your awareness of the spiritual. Mm-hmm. I think that person, I don't want to say is necessarily laid back because it's not a one-to-one in opposition.
Right.
But it's someone who is definitely more in tune with their surroundings in a way, in an empathetic way.
Okay, like more grounded and centered?
More grounded, more centered, more aware of the... It's hard to say this without going
Woo-woo.
over a threshold,
Yeah.
know? But like you're more aware of the birds in the trees and of the life that they have and their position and the greater scale of things.
Okay.
There's a oneness and a calm and a peace. Having that high gnosis, realizing that you are part of Gaia's great plan. And Gaia loves you. And Gaia loves everything around you because it's all her creation.
Okay.
I'm a little taken back by that. That's pretty awesome.
So I have 2 characters, right here.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
She wrote these up overnight.
Is that,
It's just...
Wouldn't you be
it's,
surprised?
yeah.
Julio? Julio
It's-
Trashmouth?
Trash mouth could be one of them. So it's just the rage, willpower, and gnosis ratings. And I want to compare and contrast how different these characters would act.
I see what she's saying.
Porter's not happy.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead. Maybe these gentlemen can offer some insight, and then I will speak.
All right.
I just
so
go
we
back
got-
with the characters more than dots on a sheet, but
And that's going to be my answer. I don't want to, maybe just for the sake of, that's on a sheet or not a character. I don't know anything about these people, so I can't tell you how to act,
I'm saying that based on these rage, willpower, and gnosis ratings.
But I understand, and I'm not trying to bust your balls. I'm not trying to be a problem here.
But you
That's
are.
not enough information to tell me anything about the characters.
I understand where you're coming from. I do. But I'm saying that a Rage 7 character will demonstrably act different than a Rage 3 character.
That's true, but is the Rage 7 character a child of Gaia who, grew up in Sept and help, fight all these different battles, and maybe on the off time helps army vets. So knows a little more something about like PTSD and that recurring anger. And is the Rage 3 you get a Fenris who...
Or is the Rage 7 a Red Talon?
Exactly. And those things matter. I would love to give you an answer. I can't give you an answer because it's not enough information. Because a character is more than dots on a sheet. The dots in your character sheet are the least fucking important part of your character. They don't matter. Throw your sheet away and print off a new Mr. Gone one because you're going to need it for rolls and stuff. So, but
The only time the sheet matters.
But yeah, it's the only time the sheet matters is when you need to make rolls. It's it. It's just dots that represent who the character is that help fuel that. They are not the character. I'm sorry.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, though. I mean, when there is higher dots in certain areas, your character should act a certain way.
I agree.
But you should know that without
Yeah, you
paying
should
attention
know-
to the dots.
Yeah,
You should know that character.
Yes. I can't tell you when you're mad. It's your character. You know when you're mad.
We'll go back to my character, right? He's such a high rage, and it's because he's got triggers that have just been hit so many fucking times in the past few games.
And your character behaves more rage-filled than my character.
Right.
And I don't know if that's accurate. I don't know what your dots are.
Right.
But
And it shouldn't matter, though.
I think it's interesting.
Well, and I get what you're saying. And I want to add to that because I think it's a prime example. Because you can go, well, Mike, he has Rage 7. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I
Seven.
think it's Rage.
We'll call it
We'll call it 7. He has Rage 7, just like that one. So he should act. But it's a different upbringings. It's a different circumstances.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. My character is a child of Gaia who grew up in, kinfolk and in the
In a wholesome, frankly, a wholesome,
Andy Griffith town.
yes, family environment. Like you kind of grew up on the set of Leave It to Beaver and King of the Hill spinoff.
Right. But with everybody knowing about Guru
Yeah.
and understanding what she was going through and,
So the thresholds of what's going to push her over the edge and make her that angry are totally different than the guy who got his arm lost and got his arm cut off in battle by a black spiral that was allied
with his
father.
His nutso father.
Right? Only to come home and be called Tripod and Hops and Stumpy and get kicked around and disrespected.
But that's why I mean, like, those triggers. Because those triggers add that rage. And that's why, I act that certain way at certain times.
So, I mean, it comes back down to those numbers, frankly, aren't enough information.
Right.
Because I don't know your character. Yeah, you should, like Tom said, you should respect those numbers, but in the context of your character, and without that context, I can't help you.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Don't, ignore them, but...
Right. But there's
exactly.
a greater context, Well, I got strength 4. Well, what does that mean? That can look like a lot of different things.
It really, really can.
You can throw a ball really hard.
Right? I mean, that's true across the board, I guess.
Yeah.
Are you built for, are you like a big weightlifter man? Are you like a boxer man? Are you like a Jean-Claude Van Damme man? I just wanted to say that. As I'm saying, that makes a difference.
Okay, so that's a good segue
Sweet.
for the next one.
Like what I did.
You really did it.
Nice.
Was it the John Claude Van Damme?
It totally was. So if you could do the splits.
On 2 moving trucks at the same time. Oh.
Okay.
Wait, you never seen that?
So this was actually a fan question.
Okay.
How much of my personality should I put into the character? Humbleness, meekness, loud, boisterous, fighter, brawler. How much of the player's personality should be put into the character?
Well, first of all, thanks for listening to the podcast, which I can no longer say it not have sound sarcastic. Huh?
Yeah, it kind of ruined it.
I did. Thank you for listening. Is that
That's better.
Yeah,
That's
that
better?
was better. Yeah.
All right.
Such a dick.
No, I didn't mean to, though. So we appreciate you listening, and we appreciate you writing in. That's a better way to do it.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, I found it. Got it in 2. All right. No, I think this is a good question, and I think I'll start with you guys. I think we all probably have thoughts on this.
I'll say that,
I got a question with a question, but sure.
I'll say that depends on if that's your first character.
There's my question.
Yeah, that's
If that's your first character and it's easier for you to be that character, put a little bit more than normal, or put as much as I'll take that back. Put as much of that of you into that character is what's going to help you play that character.
Use me as an example. A half to almost 3/4 of Ghost is myself.
You're an orphan?
Said a half to 3/4. I'm not saying his full backstory, but I'm saying the way he acts.
You live in a
his
van?
mannerisms, stuff like that.
no, that's
Yeah.
and I mean I think much yeah.
I think it makes the reactions more natural. You don't have to stop and calculate how your character would react in situation X, Y, or Z. Having done this for years and years and years, I like playing stuff that isn't me. I like having that other that I can just kind of lose my daily life and forget about, quote, myself for a little bit.
Yeah, you get that freedom to choose.
Yeah.
Whereas someone like me or Tom, this is our first characters, and we're trying to make them as natural as possible, so that's how we would react.
Right. It
To
helps.
the point to where how comfortable are you role playing?
Yeah.
If you're brand new to it, I would put most of yourself into the character just so you can grab hold of it.
And I want to add to that because I agree with everything you guys have said. Especially with a new player, is as much as you feel comfortable with is totally fine. But something important to remember is that the similarities, and I think Danny, you had some trouble with this for a while, a little bit in the beginning.
Yeah.
Is where the realm of where. And when we use Danny, where Danny started and Lucas stopped, you had some trouble with that at first because you can base that character 100% off you. And I think Tom, you could jump in on this too. But that character will not stay 100% like you.
No.
They're growing in a different world.
And in a very different direction. I think I had the conversation, I think I said the actual words with you, Danny, is, yeah, I know that's not what you do, but you haven't killed 15 people. You don't live in the woods. And,
Statute of limitations.
oh, that doesn't run out on murder, sir. I don't know who, they told you wrong. But you know what I'm saying, is that you're going to make a change because you are not a Garu.
Right. Like, we grew up in this world, in this set of circumstances. We are not growing up in the world of darkness as humans or other.
Right. So to have that as a starting point, I absolutely agree. I think it's great. Just remember as you continue playing,
You gotta grow.
you got to grow, and you got to grow differently. Because again, sure, Danny, but you have not killed 15 people.
Right.
Yeah.
Tom, how many eyeballs have you shot out with an arrow? That's a bad example.
I was about to say, hold on, I could probably count that.
Yeah, that's a bad example. I'm sorry.
Are you sure you can count it? You're only down to one hand. Shh. Hey-o.
He lost
Still rubbing that W in my
That's
face.
great. Boy, that's not going to make much sense if we have to re-edit something.
That'll get cut out.
Okay. So, another thing I want to bring up is, humbleness and meekness maybe don't survive long.
No, and that's something that, I'm going to use the words that should get beat out of that character real fucking quick.
Yeah.
I think a great example of that, a real world example, and I mean, when I say real world, I mean stuff we've encountered in actual games, is Joey, your character, Catherine.
Oh, yeah.
Who was the prim and proper princess prom queen. How's that for alliteration, motherfuckers? And, had everything in her dream diaries and all that, yeah.
Yeah, she was the, she was the prom queen and, the head of the whatever.
The committee, the homecoming committee, all that shit. That girl,
Oh, yeah. And she went full on Carrie.
And the problem is that she was, I don't know,
Thursh.
Shadow Lord. So when her first change came along at the homecoming dance.
At the homecoming dance, she went full on Carrie. There was a school shooter that decided to shoot up the homecoming dance.
And she frenzied and murdered everyone in there.
Including the shooter.
Oh,
So you saved the day.
That's right, she's a hero.
Hero.
Nice call.
Because
But
anyone who saw it just got delirium.
But then she's taken away to a cairn to learn her to accept, to learn her shit. What do you think happened to her? You think they're going to allow her to keep her dream books and start a fresh diary about her life in the Gyro Nation?
No, she's gonna be crazy.
They are going to take a hammer and a chisel and just go to town and break down everything that little girl is and was so they can rebuild her into something the nation needs.
You're ripping away her dream of being prom queen.
Yeah, I mean, this character, like, had a maid.
Ooh.
And now...
Had.
Yeah, well, and, you know, was...
And now has to learn to go pee on a tree.
What was it? Doritos. Those are the ethnic aisle, right?
Yeah, because they're
I've heard of
tortilla
those.
chips.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sheltered and out of touch with the world.
I mean, there was a housekeeper that did the grocery shopping. It was all organic.
Wow. That is a complete 180.
And think about it. You guys met that character.
Yeah.
That was
You
the one
did.
she played when she came to visit.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I just,
very-
I'm picturing the character going, wow, I did not expect that to be her background.
Yeah, same character.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point. That's the character. That it's not the one we knew. Because that character grew into what Joey brought in for that
Right.
one game.
Yeah.
And to be clear, because we kind of left
Yeah.
we're talking about a character who showed up and who's telling a story about how she had to interrogate someone. So she fired up a couple rounds of her gun to put the barrel to the guy's neck to get him to talk.
Yeah.
From Doritos, those are the ethnic aisle.
To popping off a couple shots, to heat up the gun barrel, to burn a dude, to get him to talk.
You know, this is over the course, I think, 2
creative.
years game time.
Yeah.
Creative, nice.
So, you know, I mean, it
And that's the difference between a veteran player and a new player.
yeah.
Sure, and it'll take you longer to get there. But the point is you know, they don't have a lot of room for the meek.
Right.
The meek, the weak, there's not a lot of room there for the Gyro Nation.
Just don't get me wrong, if I make another character, I'm going complete away from what I did. I'm going to go complete opposite.
And that's awesome.
Which,
I'm going to step out of my comfort zone for sure.
Excellent.
and I think I did that with the character I already have. I was able to almost go fully away from where I started.
Oh, you for sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
But I mean, the way I look at it is this is a horror role-playing game.
Yes.
Embrace that. You know, we are playing monsters. So embrace that. Go with it. You
Sure.
know?
Agreed.
To whatever level you're comfortable with. But, you know, again, like you just said, you want to go outside your comfort zone, and I applaud that. Because I think that's how we grow as role players.
Oh, yeah. That's why I would do it, too.
And to be clear, there's more than just the horror aspects.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just
Oh, well,
for
okay.
people out there, you know? I mean, there is more to it than that. But yeah, it is absolutely, I think it's vital to go outside that comfort zone and try new things. But if a new player,
Yeah.
where you got to start is where you got to start, and that's fine. You know, in my experience, people rarely keep their first characters very long. You know, these guys are an exception. I know a couple other exceptions, but I've known a lot of people who jettison that first character pretty quickly once they get a better handle on the game.
Yeah. No, that's understandable.
We just moved our characters into basically newer characters. They took a huge transition.
No, they
Both
did.
our characters did, so it's almost like a second character.
No, that's definitely true, but
100%
maybe
agree.
that's why.
Yeah, I think that's more the reason why we didn't. Because you also had a very good thing, like a training aspect of think of everyday situations, but as your character, how would
Yes.
they react to it? And I couldn't. That was such a good training exercise. And I was sitting at work just thinking about, okay, how would Ghost react to this? Like my coworker came up and just slammed 4 big projects on me. How would Ghost react to that? Yeah,
You might not have a coworker anymore.
Yeah, Ghost.
that's about where that went.
Ghost probably wouldn't have a job.
I mean, to be fair, Ghost is a low rage character, but he's still Garu.
Yeah. Okay. So the next one is another fan submission. This one-
Who was the last one from? Let's.
the
give a
last one
thanks
was
to that
from Silver Fox.
All right. Thank
Okay.
you, Silver Fox.
This next one is from Dundee. And the next one I kind of tweaked it, but I think I got the sentiment.
Okay.
So,
Now go ahead.
Well, thank you, Dundee, for the
The
suggestion.
sentiment.
The sentiment.
Yes.
Femori.
Okay.
Is there a way for them to be rehabilitated or reformed to serve Gaia?
No.
Just know.
Just know, that's it.
You know, I suppose there is a possibility of. Except you got to remember that a Fomor is a human that is possessed by a Bane, so it's not in control.
So you possibly could depossess.
We'll get there. Bear with me.
Okay.
So maybe there's rights for it. The right of cleansing only goes so far.
We'll get there. Bear with me. Just kidding.
Hey, we're pondering.
Yeah, fair enough.
Before your answer comes.
I suppose it would be possible for the better angel of someone's nature to try to take over or have brief moments of clarity as a femor. Mm-hmm. That's possible, and that could be a neat angle. The problem is after point X, after that possession has happened, that's pretty well permanent, almost goddamn always. I think back to a character you guys know, Willow Blooms in Moonlight, who has a spirit axe which attacks the Bane and not the person.
Right.
In theory, it does the damage to the Bane, but that still leaves, in 99% of cases, a dead human,
Or whatever that spirit
Sure,
Bane was possessing.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you're correct. You don't get to come back from Bane possession, almost ever.
Okay.
So
at that point, it's almost like reforming the Bane to help Gaia.
And how do you do that?
I don't know.
Because
I'm
you
just
can't.
saying.
Well, because as we've established, you can't make a spirit do something outside of what it can do. You can't make a fire spirit drown itself.
And
It can't summon water.
yeah,
No matter what, it's a fire spirit.
And I mean, okay, so if Fomor are humans that are possessed by Bane, if you have a murder spirit or a concept of, something awful possessing a human, you can't reform that because it's a concept of something horrible.
Right, and it's in service. It's in service to the worm by nature, or to that negative thing by nature. You bring up the murder spirit. There's your scrag.
Right.
You can't get a scrag to plant a tree.
Good luck.
That's and I think, and these are maybe little awkward examples, but I think we maybe best go back to when we did our Try It series. The worm can corrupt.
Yeah, it can't create; it only corrupts.
Right.
Okay, so I see what you're saying. Then it makes sense.
And plus, even if you could, there'd be so much physical, because usually the Fomori have very huge physical differences compared to a human. They get changed so much.
Yeah, they've been mutated.
Even if the Bane gets pulled out, they're not surviving that.
Yeah, that is a fatal process.
Yeah.
There's a time. Bane possession isn't the snap of a fingers. It takes time, and you have that window where you can save the person before it's fully done. But again, once it's done,
It's just done.
it's done. Once Linda Blair is spitting pea soup, you cannot save Linda Blair.
Gotcha. Okay.
Then I have
Nice.
Thank you.
I will push that a little further. How about a black spiral dancer?
What about it?
Could those be reformed?
Well, sure, but that's not a Bane.
Well, that's
But it's a different thing.
That's
Because
not
that's
Fomori
not
at this point.
something possessing something else. Of course a spiral could be reformed. A spiral could, for whatever reason, decide it's on the wrong side, or could hit that with a bowling ball and decide it was a guy in here all along. Whatever. And there are steps you could do. Rites of attrition, trips to Erebus to try to cleanse oneself, denouncing the tribe as a Garu can do. And they could become a Ronin. Would they be taken in by another tribe? Maybe. That's very situational, and I don't know the circumstances there.
Okay.
It's possible.
So say a black spiral dancer did get cleansed and,
Sure.
turned Gaian.
Totally possible.
So they'd be Ronin?
They would be Ronin. They would not be a White Howler. And I thank you, would not be a White Howler. I don't care how high the fucking pure breed is. I don't care if you got 12 pure breed. I don't even want to know how you did it. Don't even want to know how you did it. Cleansing yourself as a black spiral does not make you a White Howler. The White Howlers don't exist. You need more than a couple strands of shared DNA to peoples that died in, was it 255 AD? You need more than that. You need the totem. You need the blessing of a totem. You can't decide I had an ancestor spirit that was. It doesn't matter. And also, you probably didn't. And also, you don't know to call it. You just leave that alone, please. But yeah, cleansing yourself as a black spiral does not make you a White Howler. It makes you a fucking Ronin.
Okay. But But that Ronin does have the possibility of being claimed by...
The Wendigo, or the Geta Fenris, or the Children of Gaia, probably them.
Or the Bonars.
There's Bonars. Those are both the likely scenario.
Either way, it is possible, it is plausible.
Yep.
And it can make for a story.
Yeah,
Okay.
that can happen for sure.
Okay.
Cool.
So, another fan question.
Well,
You
we
guys
asked
rock.
for them.
Yes.
We asked for them,
Yeah,
we got them.
Yeps.
So, this next one is from Sean.
I don't think that was loud enough.
All right.
Get are not the strongest shifters, Gerhal are. Change my mind.
No.
Why would we change your mind? You're right.
Yeah.
And you're right. Look at the sheet, strength +3 in their Krynos form.
Now I know he's calling back to... I'm not sure it's the Get episode, but it was probably the Get episode where those words were said. But you know damn well we meant Garu. And you know that.
I didn't say it when we did our start of the Farah series, but like Gerhal could use rage points to add strength points. That's ridiculous.
And I mean...
That makes them the stronger ones. So
Right.
there's no need
Well,
to change your mind because you were absolutely
we're
right.
we're not arguing this. You're correct.
And see, where I come at this from is, what do you mean by strongest?
Strength.
Yeah.
Why?
Because
I mean,
that's
there's
what-
other...
Because the root word is...
Because it's in the word.
No, but you can be strong in different ways. You know,
Well,
it's not just strength.
Are we debating who's the most emotionally healthy? Because I gotta go.
No, I think that the girl are the most emotionally healthy of all of the groups.
I'm gonna say the Korax.
I don't know. The Koraks are kind of wacko.
They're safe though.
Right? Like, no one hates them. They're, they're never...
Progressively, no one hates
Right.
them. They were protected every which way they could be.
Like, they never shut up. They're always kind of like, we're talking. Give me a shiny thing.
Give me the shiny thing. Oh,
They get to fly.
okay.
In the aspect of brute strength, yes, the Gerhal are the strongest.
But we weren't comparing Farah when we said that. Nice try, Sean.
But thanks for the question.
By the way, he's got a game going on our Discord if you want to check that out.
He's got two.
You're welcome. Does he have two?
Does he have two
He's
now?
so fucking greedy.
You know?
I think he's running a.
Just take.
He's running a kinfolk game at the same time. Well,
Isn't
at
he
the same
supposed to
time,
be?
but like two different
Isn't
ones.
he supposed to be like doing some rage stuff for YouTube?
Hey, look at that.
Ooh.
Check out our YouTube.
Okay,
Some rage stuff's
on to
coming.
the next one.
I love you, Sean.
Unconventional settings. Are they worth it?
Oh. I'm sorry. This is just for me.
For example, high schools, colleges, overseas, or possibly fish out of water stories.
So,
And I'm saying stories, not necessarily chronicles.
Right. I mean, and I was going to make that distinction when I go, but again, I'm going to...
What do you mean by overseas?
Well-
Because there's SYBS everywhere, so...
Well, I guess the over the sea that you're not on.
Right.
Oh, but for sure have that one.
I would say, like, starting point from your story, crossing a sea to get somewhere else.
For sure.
And that brings up, culture issues, language barriers,
Yep.
possibly, stuff like that.
But then you said fish out of water, and we got Rokia.
We're not talking that.
Good. Unless we were talking about how the girl can throw him like shark missiles again, because that was funny as shit.
Just
Awesome.
great conversations.
But yeah, like fish out of water, uncomfortable scenarios.
Well, do you guys have any thoughts before I go?
I mean, I'm all for the overseas part of that, because obviously visiting other SYBS.
What about the beast courts?
What about...
I mean, again, could be a fish out of water story because it's a completely different culture, completely different rules.
On every level. I would call a Hengi Yokai story a fish out of water.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to bring up an example in a minute.
No, please do. I'm
All right,
quite
well-
curious on what you got.
All right, well, just that. When I was sitting down to make the character that eventually became Jude, that wasn't anywhere near my first draft.
Right.
My first draft was a character named Shiro Kanzaki, who was a Haken. He's flat out Hengi Yokai. And the idea behind the character is that he was going to travel to America to try to learn more about connecting with the wolf kinfolk, which is a problem with the Haken, So he's making this trip overseas to this disgusting, loud Western culture that the Henki Yokai just hate so hard to deal with their slovenly, dirty mongrel cousin Garu. And again, in an effort for the greater good.
Right.
To not lose that lupus heritage. And, so I thought about this character and I started to play him out. And what I realized, because this is a total fish out of water character, this is coming to America. I mean, it is. Right?
No, but at the same time, it's very noble of that story.
Sure, but this is a guy whose understanding of American culture is a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
And what I realized...
How sick of that character are you going to get?
Well, that's exactly it. I realized that. Is before I'm even done with his background, I go, I am going to get bored of this, mid-second story.
Everything's a miracle or a terror.
Yep. Everything I don't understand... Or, well, in my culture, and I'm done. I'm already done with the character, and I'm already bored of it.
Okay, but what about if us three have to go over to the Beast Courts to get something done?
I think that's, and again, is that as a fish out of water? Because, in my case, I was going to be in for 6.
Yeah.
And I realized that 6 was way too long to sustain that character. I just wouldn't want to do it anymore. Is a one-off.
Okay.
I can see it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I wouldn't,
doing as one
I wouldn't
story.
do it more than a single story.
Okay.
Because, again, you're going to get bored of the novelty of the setting. And let's be clear, you're only doing it for the novelty. Let's not mince words. Let's not fool ourselves. You're only doing it for the novelty.
Okay.
You're doing it because you just watched a Dragon Ball Z marathon. And you thought, wouldn't it be cool if I paired you up with Ninja Korax to fight demon spiders?
Here's a clave.
Yeah, you're gonna want your big maybe gaudy action set piece that's just bubblegum fun, and that's fine
for one story.
Right, but you're gonna get bored with it after that, and you're not gonna take it seriously even if you want to, because you're gonna get sick of it. Because it's so foreign. Your mileage may vary, but 9 times out of 10.
Okay.
And there are other parts of that too, though. You talked about, Tom, the going to a different culture, removing the Hengi Yokai from it.
Right.
Because at least now you have the nation itself to fall back on and the traditions therein. That could be great. That's a different thing entirely. Go for that. Yeah. Maybe you're sent to Ireland for a few stories.
That's where I was getting with that.
Hey, you got to go to Italy because someone did something stupid and now you have to go repay a debt.
Well, and I had a backstory that had France in it for, 2 or 3 years?
The Mare to Do?
Yep.
Make sure I said that right. Now, what's that mean, Joey?
God, I don't even remember anymore.
Shit, I thought she knew.
Oh.
No, I don't.
I
Ruined.
Yep,
Darn.
edit.
Game over.
Yep. And now we can't. It's Jigsaw.
Yep. But yeah, so those, the overseas like that, I think those are great. There's plenty of room for those. But
What about the high school and college
I was
aspects?
just about to say.
That's a little rough.
That's a lot rough. And it's, generally speaking, bad idea genes.
Is it
10-foot tall rage monster around a bunch of kids squawking.
I was gonna say, is
all the
that
time.
too close to home kind of thing, or?
Well, you're asking for it, and at the same time, you're also it's really constrictive. Okay, let's take a second to think about that. Right? Let's compare this to an episode of Saved by the Bell, because really you're motivated by something that was high school related, right? Right?
Oh, absolutely.
You're going to be inspired by college and/or high school things. Let's use Saved by the Bell.
Or Degrassi.
I don't speak Canadian.
I'm more with Degrassi than Saved by the Bell because, younger.
I see what you did there. That was clever.
Thank you.
I think
It's just a little
It's
international
the newer
shout-out.
version of
Saved by the Bell.
Wasn't Degrassi on the air since the 70s?
Yeah.
This isn't important.
We're not here to argue that.
What is important, right, is you have to go to class. This isn't Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So you're going to show up at this high school, right? Mm-hmm. And you're going to be irritated by the people around you because you're a Garu and because you have rage.
And they're smelly.
Yes.
And they're loud.
Yes.
Very loud.
And now,
And they're chewing bubble gum.
all that shit.
with her mouth open.
And now you have to go to class and listen to someone say things to you with pretend authority because they don't know what authority means, they are not Garu.
And they're teaching
What are they going to
you
do?
useless knowledge because you're Garu.
Yep.
And you don't care what happened in 1066.
Yeah. Oh, is there an algebra test tomorrow? Fuck off, man. I have to kill a logging company.
There's a scrag out the window. I gotta go deal with that.
Right.
Right?
But you have to sit through this class and listen to this shit that does not apply to you. And again, with these teachers with their fake authority, because what are they going to do? Send you to another room. They're going to tell you the best they can do. This is real life. The best a teacher can do is tell you to go to another room. You don't even have to do that. They can't do anything about it. Like, they can't grab you and throw you out of the
You
room.
can just see someone getting set off by after that hour-long lecture, the bell goes off. Oh my god.
Sure, or you're falling asleep in class and you got the teacher who likes to slam the books down. Only he doesn't realize that the last time you heard a noise that loud, that suddenly it was a shotgun going off 2 feet from your head.
Frenzy check.
Right. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing: you go, well, why don't we just not go to class? Well, then what are you playing the setting for?
I'm with you 100% on that one.
If you're going to ignore the class aspect of going to class,
Don't write about it.
Why?
yeah, then you're not playing in high school.
Yeah.
Cut it out. It's a terrible idea. And again, it's super constricting. Mm-hmm. You know, what is the plot going to take place in between the 15 minutes between classes?
Or it's the rager after school.
You know, but you don't have to be part of school for that, do you?
No, there's nothing stopping you from showing up after.
Hey, you hear a bunch of kids partying, or you've been tracking a Bane who went to a place where a bunch of kids are partying.
And they're like, hey, we don't
your
recognize you, and hey, I guess we don't have any classes together.
Yeah, like I'm Biff, I just moved in. Whatever.
Biff.
Yeah, this is Marty and
Oh, yeah,
Doc.
Back to the Future. All right.
Oh.
Is there any other Biff on the planet?
Who knows? I'm sure somebody named their kid Biff after that.
I refuse. Reject your hypothesis.
Thank you. If someone's named Biff, please call in and tell us.
Well, right.
Our number is
Please write in and tell us.
Our number is 532-HELP.
Please write in and tell us.
I would put that as our phone number in the Facebook page.
Oh, nice.
532-HELP.
Okay.
You laugh, but we're going to get sued for putting it because someone else already has it.
I'd mention an area code.
Touche.
So, next topic. Next post-it note.
Sweet.
Now, this is about totems. So we've got the tribal totem, the pack totem, and the personal totem.
Okay.
Can you have all three? Do you just want two? Where's that line? And are
Oh, there's more.
There's more.
there's more?
It's a big question.
Oh my god.
I am queen of the multi-part questions. Are any of the totems listed fair game? Are there any limits? Are there any rules? What are your thoughts on that?
Okay.
There are no rules!
There are no rules.
Oh, door
Just-
rules.
No rules.
I didn't realize you could have a personal totem.
You can, but you can't have a pack totem.
Oh, if you take a personal, you can't have a pet.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, a personal
That's it.
totem is that you have that deep, you actually have a connection with, you know, that totem itself, and it has agreed to watch over you specifically.
So there, you can't have all three.
Is that, I was going to say, is that a Rowan?
It's a real thing.
Rowan situation, though?
No.
Ronan.
That's what I said.
That's how they said Rowan.
Yeah, I heard Rowan as
Sorry.
well.
Well,
Well, Rowan is an
Rowan.
NPC.
Rowan
Yeah.
Blood Tears.
That's why I got confused
Is
for
that
a
a
second.
Ronin situation?
That's possible, but that's
Not likely.
probably not likely.
Okay.
You know, possible, but you know, a Ronin doesn't have a totem because they don't have a tribe. They're kind of nobody.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah, no, it's
They're
fine,
just fighting a
fine
good fight.
question.
The ritual to go Ronin is I've read it and it was sad just reading it. Like it was depressing.
You kind of lose everything.
Yeah, like everybody in your sept turns their back to you.
Oh, yeah. I saw that part, yeah.
Like a Joey writing the null zone kind of thing.
Great.
So no, a personal totem, and I mean, I think a great example of that would be if, in my head canon, you know, my contingency head canon,
Okay.
if for some reason Tom decided to stop playing Crimson Ghost or couldn't play anymore, and we had to write the character off, Coyote would be his personal totem.
That makes sense.
It makes sense because of how many ties he has with him.
Right. You know, it's you have that close tie with the totem, and it's a personal, I mean, it's in the name, but it's a very personal connection. Where the pack totem, and I mean, you guys understand the pack totem agrees is the whole pack, and it can grow and with the pack, which is great, but you can't do both.
And Echo and the pack totem, that's the weirdest thing. I as a player don't even know how to react to all that.
I don't understand why it's so weird for Echo. Because it's not like their totem is Wolverine.
No.
You know, blood soaked. You can't turn your back on a fight and murder everything all the time. Wolverine.
No, she doesn't trust him.
She's a Coyote. He's pretty affable. A little too affable.
Yeah. No, she doesn't really trust him. So it's interesting.
The question of are all totems fair game, though?
We're gonna stick with it. And obviously, you know, your tribal totem is, I mean, that's to your tribe. It's,
yeah.
You know, there's that personal connection there, but it's not maybe like a day-to-day thing.
Okay.
You know, I think maybe, and this is not a great example, but it's what's in my heart right now. Mm-hmm. You know, like Grandpa. He's not, you know what you do all day. He knows what your birthday is. He'll send you a card. It's fine. He doesn't. You got friends? Do you get a little girlfriend? You got friends? That's a good kid. He's a dollar. Get out of here.
Ooh, $1.
You know?
Right?
Maybe
Now-
some kind of, I don't know whose grandfather that is.
That's
Yours
a lot
now.
That's probably a lot of people's grandfather.
Now, my question is, like, okay, so the pack totem reaches out and, you know, helps when called.
Yes, provided. Yes.
Does a tribal totem, you know, what would it take for a tribal totem to do something like that?
Well, it depends on
Situational.
your relationship with the tribe, your relationship with the totem, and I mean, you know, I kind of make my little grandpa joke there, but you know, this is a serious question, so thank you. Put me back to that. The tribal totem is like a god. Mm-hmm. You know, to have Fenris show up in front of Hunter.
Be prepared to lose an arm.
Right.
He didn't summon him. This is a different
okay.
scenario.
Oh, okay.
You know, that's like a religious experience.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
fall on
Like
your
the
knees.
awe of
Yeah,
great
that's-
Fenris to appear before me and show me a vision or give me a command.
Yeah,
And-
that's drop down to the knee, bow, that kind of, that's,
you know,
the
that's
ultimate respect.
Yeah, the reverence there. And yeah, you can. It's possible to call on their aid, their wisdom, their whatever. And I think your mileage varies again between the type of totem it is and the relationship that the character has with not only the tribe but with the totem, with Gaia. You know, we talk about and this is a pack totem, but you know, you look at the relationship between Boar and the Rabies and Chains pack, to where, you know, their Alpha Whiplash is making blood sacrifices on the regular in Boar's name just out of love of Boar, out of respect. Not even to get anything. This guy's a believer. Boar fucking loves that shit. Boar will be with them in combat whenever they fucking call. Because, you know, holy shit, yeah. The reverence and the love and, you know, it's a thing. Now, your question about other spirits.
Like, what if two totems clash? So it's kind of like you have this tribal totem. Doesn't work well with that pack totem.
Well, you know, they don't have to hang out.
Fair.
You can make the argument that, and I don't know that I am, but you can make the argument that Owl is not super likely to endorse a pack with like 2 bone gnars in it. Or maybe let's flip that around. Is that, you know, Rat isn't super likely to endorse a pack with 2 Striders in it. Probably be a better fit.
Either way.
Because of the relationship between those 2 totems.
Right.
That doesn't make it impossible. That does, you know, it's weird. It's maybe not. No one says you can't do it. It's just, wow, that's odd. Fuck. Isn't Owl mad about this?
And like, okay, going with the Bonar Rat Owl Strider thing. So, say for X reason, the pack with the Bonars had to reach out to Owl. Are they going to be okay with doing that?
Probably not.
Is Owl even going to listen?
I mean, it's a good question. I mean, that would make some good role playing. I think maybe the Striders in the Rat Pack might.
Nice.
I don't know how else to say that. I mean,
you
No,
know,
that's why I said
Sammy and Frank.
yeah, Dean Martin, he can't. Actually, I want to stick with Sammy. I think Sammy would have been a Strider.
Yeah, I can see it.
Jonas, when he was young, was based on things. He's a lot like Sammy.
Okay.
That's what I figure. I figure Jonas Mystic guys when he was like 25. He's Sammy Davis Jr.
Nice.
So yeah, Sammy's gonna go, hey, oh, come on over here, cat. I need your help. Right? It's a terrible Sam. I'm not going to do that again.
Thank you.
It's a terrible Sammy Davis Jr. But I think, Owl might be inclined to show up, or maybe not Owl, but an avatar of Owl. I mean, Owl himself is not
Never
showing up. But I think an avatar of Owl might show up, but be standoffish as shit. Mm-hmm. Because, who are you to summon me, child who serves my prey? You who worship the thing that I eat over me. What?
Gotcha.
Who?
Why?
Who?
No, I understand.
Oh my goodness.
I was owling back at you. Because you can say more than who. You just want that sharp one word.
Right. No,
Why?
No, I agree with you. I think, and that again, you said it makes for better role playing.
Yeah. So, I think that's the situation. And in terms of other spirits, because that is part of the question, I swear I was going to touch down on it. I think anything out of a spirit brood can be fair game.
But sometimes shouldn't be.
Well, Children of Gaia have unicorn and black unicorn. Vastly different.
Different aspects of unicorn, yeah.
Right. So, I can see one of the unicorns not answering for servants of the other one.
I think that's possible. And I think it's a very case-by-case basis because there's so many different scenarios you can come up with.
Yeah.
But in terms of getting something as like a pack totem, there has to be a certain power level there. And I would argue any totem spirit brood will probably be fair game, maybe rare, and maybe weaker. You could get Grain as a pack totem, but she's not going to be super powerful, because who does that? On the other hand, you are not going to get a fire gaffling as your pack totem. That's insane. That's ridiculous.
I kind of want that now.
That's so low on the totem pole of totems. See what I did there? It's not even on the pole. It's such a nothing spirit, which is really the third should be really upset. I'm saying but it's not in the correct echelon of power to be any good.
Okay.
I think a lot of the spirit broods, though, you could make an argument for. And I think that can make a nice change of pace. What are you two doing?
Tom is chomping at the bit right now. He's got something.
Do you see a pack of red talons running around with General Lee as their totem?
That would be amazing. And I just see a lot of heads out of windows.
Oh, that's good.
I saw in his eyes, I was like, he's bringing the fucking General Lee up. I know it.
I had to.
My least favorite totem. Good job.
That's why I had to.
And that's why I said, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
So who was that last one from?
That was me.
That was you. Mm-hmm. Look at that.
Oh, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Producer Joey, for the question.
Yeah. Quick shout out to Producer Joey. Thanks for listening and tuning in. We appreciate your question.
That's why I said I'm queen of the multi-part question.
Who is this again?
Well done. Nice. Well, before we hit the end of the show, I believe we have a Cubs Corner this time around.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Yeah, it has. And that's
They've kind of piled up.
Little inside baseball for you guys.
Well, this whole episode was kind of Cubs Corner questions, wasn't it?
Which is a perfect justification for not doing one.
Yeah.
However,
Right.
Little inside baseball is sometimes we run out and we're waiting on people to ask stuff, and sometimes when we don't have something, we'll just make something dumb up that we think someone might ask anyway. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we forget, but there's this thing that happens when Producer Joey will give me the wrap it up sign.
Yes.
And maybe you'll notice sometimes episodes end abruptly. I don't fuck around when I see the wrap it up sign.
I abuse power.
My goal is like, okay, we're out of this in 2 minutes tops.
Yeah.
Because she said wrap it up, so we have to be encroaching on 2.5 hours. I have no idea how long.
Don't abuse the producer's powers.
So because of that, we have not had a Cubs Corner in a while, because while we've had the questions, I've seen the hook, and I'm like, all right, gotta go, see ya.
I think the last 3 episodes we had it, and then she says wrap it up, and we forget to answer the question.
And he gets going so fast, I can't
stop
jump
him.
in and say, whoa, stop.
But then it's like, hey, asshole, you told me to wrap it up.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
See, exactly.
Yeah.
Same time, same place, next week.
You told me to end the show. I'm going to end the fucking show.
So
I
yeah,
listened to my producer.
today we have 2 Cubs Corners questions.
Yes,
Trying to make
and,
up for it.
and that is
Yep.
why.
Yep. So, okay, the first one is, what is the easiest tribe/auspice to start with, or the easiest backstory to create?
Well, let's divide that into 2 separate answers.
Yes.
And let's go around the table, starting from Tom.
Get Ahram.
Danny?
Get around.
Joey?
Get around.
Let's get Ahram.
That's the easiest to create.
Even if you
Because
play it bad, it's still good.
You're
Right?
still fine.
Yeah, you're even if you play it quote unquote bad, you're still playing a get around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's
Is it the best? No.
no, but it's
It's the easiest.
really hard to fuck up.
Right.
I mean, you can make a really good Get Ahram. Not saying that.
Yeah,
but
yeah. We're not shitting on
We're not,
get Ahram.
we're not crapping on it
We're
for
just
sure.
saying is it's not hard.
It's very forgiving.
Yes.
Yes,
There's a lot
there,
of
yeah, there we go.
I am mad and I want to punch you. Get around. You got it.
And I mean, you can play it so well.
Yeah.
There's still a good way to play it.
Yeah.
There's also a very easy way to play it.
Right, right. And
Compared to
when you're
any
playing
other
it bad, you're still in the realm of okay.
Yeah, you're still getting away with it. So,
Or, yeah, I personally think maybe like a Thurge or a Philodox might be a little harder.
oh yeah, if you
Dirge is hard.
yeah, her Thurge is probably the hardest to play.
Yeah.
Because you can suck as a Thurge
And that's a problem for the rest of you and your pack.
forever.
Mm-hmm.
Forever.
You know, I want to say Philodex is kind of the second easiest. You just gotta judge.
Probably.
You know, you gotta pick a side and stick to it.
I'm kind of with
Followed by
but-
Ragabash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ragabash and Philodox, they bounce between each other.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely the Galliard and then the Thurge are the hardest to play.
Yeah.
I was going to say Gallard and Thurge two hardest.
Well, and then the Galliard, it's more, there's just a lot of extra legwork. You don't have to be overly creative, I don't think. I mean, it helps when you're telling stories, don't get me wrong. But to play a Thurge,
You gotta know
Properly.
the stories.
yeah, properly, to show and not tell, you know, you have to approach spirits differently every time. You have to, you know, like this spirit doesn't have a concept of past. It only understands right now. It doesn't matter that you've dealt with it 8 times. It doesn't know you.
You're not going to talk to a fire spirit like you're talking to another dude.
Right. You know, there's just so many complications to playing a Thirst
Right.
properly.
So-
It's so easy to fuck up.
So get
Get around.
Now,
Well, there was the other
What was
facet
the
of that.
second
Where was the
part?
other second?
the easiest backstory to create.
That's
Amnesia. You take the amnesia flaw.
wow. I didn't even expect that, but yeah, look at that. But you know what? And I know you've done it before, but if someone does it, make the storyteller have the background,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if someone takes amnesia in my group, I get to write their background.
and then you can
Nice.
bring it up
That is
as
the
the
easiest
game
way out.
goes.
Yep.
You don't even have to write one.
My next character, I'm doing that.
Okay.
Be careful what you wish for.
Well, and I know she knows the story. And I think I know you guys know the story.
No, that's why I brought it up. Yeah.
Yeah, of the character who took that, the new player who took that as a background, and I warned him. I didn't fucking, he knew. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, he had amnesia, turned, you know, and that was a running thing. He didn't know much about his past, and it was like the third or fourth chronicle where, you know, they're in this small southern town that he came from. So, like, the librarian went to junior high with him and recognized him.
Uh-oh.
It's like, oh yeah, no, they sent me to military school and I hit my head, and so some of my memories are kind of fuzzy. It's good to see you, you know, faking it. Well, here's your your parents, and he kind of finagles where his parents live, and he goes to see his mom, or he goes to next to the door. You know, the pack shows up, and his mom opens the door, and she's like, oh my God, dear, you know, Joseph, I'm so happy you're home. Oh, give me a big old hug, and she hugs him, and you must be the pack. Oh, that's fantastic. Come in, come in. And then they sit down, and she's making them, like, you know, finger food. She's, you know, making, like, some stew or whatever. Here's some pizza rolls. You know, you got to tell me all about everything. I called your father. You know, I got a hold of him. They're going to get a hold of your father. He's coming back with his pack. Everyone is so excited. So tell me all about your life. How did you guys meet? Did you all come from the same hive?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Tom's like, oh,
Did you not know this story, Tom?
I did not.
Oh, this
shit.
is awesome.
really? You didn't know that?
No, I didn't hear that story.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
shit.
heard it a couple times, and it's still awesome every time.
Oh, it's
Because it's just how nonchalant,
yeah.
you know? And then
Whoa.
I called your father and his pack are coming.
Well, get the hell out of Dodge.
Right? And the response is one of the members of the pack shot her in the face immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. What else are you
boom.
supposed to do?
Black
We're-
Spiral Kin.
We have to go
Smart.
now.
Bye.
Yeah.
Good on that pack, mate.
So I think that's the easiest. It's also a massive cop out.
It is. But if I took it,
It would be up to me, and I would do something I thought was cool.
Yeah.
Fun for me. I don't
Right.
care about you now.
Yep, you gave him that option. It's now his
and I
his
knew
choice.
I would do that knowingly.
Right.
That's the difference.
Right, and I would make sure to warn you anyway because
Right.
I'm not a monster.
Yeah, and there's like a level of trust,
Yes.
which long-term gaming groups have.
Right, true, but also don't get rid of Echo.
Well, no one's getting rid of
No.
Echo. But did you guys have thoughts? Because I feel like I just snuck. I thought someone was going to talk, and I just snuck that
No,
answer
you're
in.
fine. It's
That's the best answer.
yeah. There's nothing
Well,
we could say could top that, so it's perfect.
You know,
But you have your opinion, and it matters.
and I think I'm an orphan, I'm a foster child.
That's what I was going with. Like, yeah, you can go with a background like he's an orphan, or you can just pretend it was you. But that's also seems kind of a cop out.
But it makes it an easy background.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the question.
Yeah,
So-
it wasn't the best, it was the easiest.
Right.
And I think
For both those answers, right?
and I think going through the foster system in World of Darkness.
Is a
Ooh.
scary thing.
There's a short story in When Will You Rage called The Bye Bye Club. If you have access to When Will You Rage, there you go.
Yeah, just check that out.
That's a good little story.
So, okay. On to the second Cubs Corner.
Yeah, let's do it. We can handle this.
What was it like for you to step into Werewolf those first few sessions?
I like that question.
Oof.
Well, our first few sessions weren't actually the Chronicle yet. You were,
I did that little demo
yeah,
for you
you were
guys.
doing the demo.
But I mean, if that's what you want to count. You know?
Oh, but that counts as one in my opinion because
Alright.
you did throw a mini story. You did, it was like 2 mini
Yeah, I did
stories.
two. I did two. I
Yeah,
did
you
the
did 2 mini stories.
little on-the-site demo and the one later with the apartment building and the calm.
Yeah.
Okay.
That were fun because I got to see how Porter obviously told a story. And I mean, crap, he came up with such a good story off the top of his head. I was like, I'm sold.
I remember answering this in Discord. This came from Discord, didn't it?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I
It's been
believe-
stuck up on my wall for like over a month.
No.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. Don't.
Put your phone down. Answer the question.
I'm trying to remember because I answered this in Discord.
Does-
Doesn't
You know
matter.
the
Answer
answer.
it here.
Answer it now. Not what
He's
you
got
wrote
his phone
in
out.
Discord.
That's it. Your phone is going in phone jail next time.
You're
That's
on
the
phone
microwave.
probation.
Phone probation. All right. What was it like for the first few times of role playing?
Yeah.
It's weird. Like I've never done that before, and there's always that stigma, right? Everyone else has that, everyone has their opinions, and you know about them. But like, fuck that. I don't give a shit about other people's opinions mostly. So I had, how would I put this? There are very few people in this world who I have an absolute trust in, and I'm close your ears for a second, Porter. But Porter's one of them. Okay, you can take your ears off now.
You
Paul
have
Picasso?
detachable ears.
There's an absolute trust. There's it's I don't know how else to say that, but like whatever he said, I was going to trust. So when he said it's time to take a look at this, okay, show me, show me the ways. What am I missing?
Okay.
Like I said, the stigma where there was like, oh, role playing, sword swinging. No, it's there's so much more to it. Let me explain. All right, I trust you, and I don't regret it. It's a big deal. These stories are so cool and they're so in depth. That, and we've mentioned before that they're chronicles. How it's like a season of television. To me, that's so cool, and that helps me with this character because I can see. It's almost like I watch TV differently now. Mm-hmm. I'll put myself in that show as my character, and what would he do differently than that person's doing right now?
Murder everybody.
I mean, besides the point.
Breach.
Besides the point, but not only is that quote unquote season of television going on, I'm part of the decision making of what's happening next.
I'm just having mental images of Hunter in Grey's Anatomy and the and the bad that would happen.
We're like, Dr. McJuicy, we have to get the appendix out before the semiflange closes.
Okay.
Nice.
Thanks.
Well, it might take me a few extra minutes. I only have one hand.
Someone give him a hand. Very funny, intern.
Exactly. No,
Yeah, that was fun, thanks.
yeah.
I didn't know what to expect either. I mean, this guy, I had just become friends with him, and he calls me over and goes, "Hey, he's doing this werewolf thing." I'm like, "What?"
But Dale's like, I didn't know. I had no fucking clue.
Neither did I. I mean, I had only known you for like half a year, maybe 3/4 of a year, and he calls me over to play werewolf.
Why don't you come over and meet this stranger and do what he says from now on?
That's exactly how that started.
That sounds so creepy.
He asked me to play chess.
Whoa.
Whoa!
No
That's
chess
a
was
deep
involved.
Like how you handle that rook. Hey-oh.
No chess was
Bishop.
involved.
Anyway.
No.
That depends on you, buddy.
My point is that these stories have kept me hooked and they haven't let go. That's it. That's what I got.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, seriously, thank you.
And honestly, thank you.
Up top. Now, I actually have an answer to this.
Okay.
Because there was earlier speculation that I wouldn't have an answer because it was a flabby jillion years ago. And I don't like that implication already. But
It's okay, Dracula.
it was a dark and stormy night when I first played.
One.
One night, yeah. Take that, pricks.
Everybody's laughing, don't worry.
No, I remember my first experience with role-playing being frustrating, confusing, and scary in a way that, not where I was frightened, but in a way where, like, you're working on a project on the computer for a while and you haven't saved, and you hear thunder.
Oh.
Oh.
You can't get to that same button quick enough.
You know, I had a terrible storyteller. He didn't know what he was doing, and he wasn't willing to help. He didn't answer questions. He put a book in front of me and left the fucking room, knowing I had no experience whatsoever, you know? And I hobbled a character together, but here's what I didn't know. He just gave me character creation. He didn't really explain the world. He didn't explain how RPGs worked, really. My knowledge was that general osmosis, this is what D&D is. This is osmosis. So I'm here. My thought is that his job is to kill me as quickly and efficiently as possible. As a storyteller, that was his job. That's all I knew. So it's that I'm confused because I have an idea in my head of what this world is, which was not the world. It was more of a fantasy D&D. You know, I'm picturing I'm in this like hotel, and I'm thinking, I'll go to the hotel bar, and there'll be another werewolf in his suit of armor with a sword, and Krynos just waiting there. Because again, I wasn't given any context. So that's just what my head, what I'm thinking. You know, and so you have no explanation. So I'm confused. I'm not sure of any context to anything. And I think everything he's doing is a trick. Can you imagine? It's the opposite of the trust you guys have in me.
You know, because you
I don't see that
explained.
being very enjoyable.
No, it wasn't. It was terrible.
Yeah, I was gonna say
It was
you
just a
explained
stressful
everything
experience.
for us.
And, you know, that first story was, and I shit you not, is I woke up in a hotel room. I walked to the stairs, like I'm on a whatever floor, and there was a shadow coming up. And so I cut off the guy's head, and a bane came out. And that was the story. And I'm sitting here going, his job is to kill me. I actually spent 3-4 hours working this fucking character. And he's going to snap his fingers and kill me, and I don't know what's going on.
It's gotta be frustrating.
Fortunately, he left the book when he went home, so I could learn more about the game.
And you had enough interest in doing it.
And I read it cover to cover, and here we are today.
I have actually had a storyteller actively try to kill my character as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that was one of our very first episodes. But
Yeah. So, I mean, I understand how frustrating it is, and I understand why he was doing it. I understand what he was doing. It wasn't a new role player, and it was still nightmarish to go through.
Yeah. Although, that did lead us to, because I know one of those characters walked up a set of stairs and got decapitated.
Yes.
We have decided that was a crossover point. And then my first character decapitated that character.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like it.
You can't prove it's not true.
Right.
Well, you did say a bane came out, so
Yeah, it can't.
Who
My
knows?
character was dead. I can't prove what happened.
Yeah, she can't
you didn't know
verify.
you were bane possessed or not.
Who knows that they're being possessed?
All right.
But no, like, I mean, I know the question says, what happened when you stepped into werewolf? My problem is, I came to werewolf after several versions of role playing.
Yeah.
So I came to werewolf with an established gaming group who all knew each other, who all trusted each other, who all had that camaraderie. So it's different for me. We were all learning the game together. And we all trusted each other.
I think that's the biggest deal right there. I don't think it goes anywhere without the trust.
Right.
Need your safe space.
Yeah. And, generally the demographic of these games is skewed towards the male. So the girl role players generally find themselves in groups with guys. And my mom met my gaming group and trusted them to sleep at our house for me to sleep at their house. When I was a teenager, if you had a teenage daughter,
Right, that's saying something.
right? And nothing happened because,
Well, except for the 6 kids.
dude,
I couldn't help myself. I'm kidding.
There's going to be such a big rumor now.
Right? No, I'm kidding. That was a joke. I couldn't help myself. Sorry.
thank you. But yeah, it was about going and playing first D&D, then vampire, and then werewolf. It was about that. It wasn't about me going and hanging out with a group of guys, even though I did hang out with a group of guys, and it was a lot of fun.
So it wasn't just you were hanging out with a group of guys. You were hanging out with a group of your friends.
Exactly.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we role played, and we had a ball doing it.
It's awesome.
So yeah, no, I think trust is at the core of a gaming group.
Porter's the only one that had it rough.
Yeah.
Well,
More's the better.
My introduction into role playing wasn't great, but it was in D&D, and then
Mine was
vampire
D&D as well, so.
Yeah, I think I want to point out, the sentiment is true, how important trust is. And I know with things as they are in the world these days, there's a lot more online groups going on and people who don't know each other. And that's advice I think we need to pass on to all those players. Mm-hmm. All those players in all these games, there needs to be a level of trust. I don't care what your name is, I don't care what your background is, if you're going to sit down at a virtual table with a new group. Trust your storyteller. I know you don't know him or her, but put a level of trust out there.
Yeah, they're there to tell you and make a good story. They're not there to hurt you.
Well, my thing is, before you agree to sit down with a storyteller or with a player, interview process.
Well, that's important, sure, to get to know somebody, but I'm saying it's not always easy to do to just go, okay, I'm just gonna... How many times have we encountered a situation, and, I don't want to say exact situations or your name, I'm certainly not going to name names.
No.
But that we've encountered to where there were people, we've talked to through the Discord or through social media, or, that have been like, well, I'm only going to play a game if I can do it this way and this way and this way. Or, the storyteller has a rule that I don't like.
So I'm not playing.
So I'm not playing, and it's so hard to find a group. Well, you had a group, you just wouldn't trust your storyteller.
Right.
Give it a chance.
Yeah.
You have to release. You're not in control, and I know that can be frustrating if you don't know the people around you. Trust in a storyteller.
Trust the process.
Yeah. And if it's a bad game, after a while, it's a bad game after a while, but just make sure it's because of...
the game,
and not because you didn't get what you wanted, or because it's not all about you, because it's never all about you, and that's something I tell you guys even, that, the game itself, the stories are about your pack, the world does not revolve around you. Mm-hmm. So it's just some advice there that I think is particularly, worth mentioning since we're talking about this.
Very well said.
Thank you.
Okay, Porter.
All of us. Oh, now is the
It's time to go. See you.
I just gave him the wrap it up sign.
What? And with that, I'm afraid it's about time for us today. We want to thank you so much for joining in. And, it means the world to us. You know how you can help. We've talked about it earlier. We'll talk about it next week. We talked about it last week. We'll keep doing that. You keep tuning in. You keep telling your friends. And on behalf of everyone here at Summer Rain Studios, thank you for listening. Take care of each other. Keep on howling.